Gu Wenyu's brain is literally frying as a massive surge of memories floods his mind, and his eyes glow with a terrifying supernatural intensity as the system takes hold. His friend asks if he's okay, but he's barely even there. Then he takes a deep breath, finally stabilizing as the download finishes. The system confirms it. The memories are fully loaded, and he plays it cool, brushing off the pain as just a bad headache. He grabs his bag, making an excuse to leave, but his friend is left totally confused as he walks away. He does not look back, just focused on his next move, and he slips past everyone, moving with a newfound predatory grace. He drops his bag, no longer needing the disguise, and he sprints across the rooftops, realizing this is not a dream, it's his new reality. He looks out over the city of Lijiang, and he realizes he's actually here in the heart of the game. He questions if he was created or just inserted into this world, but he knows the butterfly effect is real, and he's the one pulling the strings. He flexes his power, feeling the energy crackle around him, and he laughs, realizing just how broken his new abilities really are. He looks at his own hands, knowing his original body would never survive this. Then he takes a leap of faith, testing his limits. Imagine if he just have a schizophrenia and his shadow energy slowly erupts from him. His eyes flare red as he activates his signature skill. Black restraint straps, he screams. He's floating, surrounded by lethal dark tendrils, and he controls them with a simple flick of his wrist. He tests the grip, feeling the raw power, and he launches himself across the skyline like a dark predator. He slams his power into a wall like a Spider-Man, and he swings through the city, moving faster than the eye can see. People below look up, wondering if they just saw a UFO, but they have no idea they're watching a monster in the making. Mahi laughs, loving how easy it is to dominate this world, and he compares his power to a twisted version of a classic hero. He swings through the shadows, closing in on his destination, and he finally arrives at the Lijiang orphanage. He stares at the building, the place where his new life truly began, and he remembers the nights he spent in the attic, dreaming of the outside. He steels his nerves, ready to face his past, and he walks up to his home feeling like a complete stranger. He recalls his family, the missing father, the sister, and the brother, and he remembers the tragic day his mother was taken by rainbow wings. His father has been gone for 2 years, leaving a void behind, so he reaches for the door, ready to confront the remaining siblings. Suddenly, his eyes lock onto something strange, and a system gear icon appears on the door handle. The system interface pops up, glowing in the dark, and it's listing out his new high-stakes objectives. He reads the quests, his expression hardening, and he pushes the door open, stepping into the unknown. The system bombards him with dangerous main quests about his own family. Main quest is discover what his older brother actually hiding. Gu Wenyu walks into the house, but his brother is waiting in the shadows with a bloodied knife. His brother flashes a chilling fake smile, acting like everything is perfectly normal. Gu Wenyu freezes his eyes, locking onto the weapon, realizing he's walked into a trap. He keeps his cool, questioning his brother's suspicious behavior while his mind races. He plays along, acting casual while scanning the room for any sign of his sister. His brother asks about their sister, trying to keep up the charade. Gu Wenyu lies through his teeth, knowing full well something is deeply wrong with this family. Then his brother retreats to his room, leaving Gu Wenyu alone to plot his next move. Suddenly, the system pings, and a massive skill tree interface flashes before his eyes. He stares at the glowing screen, realizing he's about to get a major power-up. The system offers a hidden branch that grants his shadow straps sensory powers. He considers the Madness branch, which would massively boost his range. Or he could choose Ruthless to instantly scan an enemy's stats and abilities. He decides to go for the sensory skill, perfect for tracking his brother's secrets. But just as he's about to upgrade, the TV breaks into a frantic news report. A hero called Blue Arc is dominating the headlines for stopping a massive crime. Gu Wenyu realizes these anomalists are the key to the organization that experimented on him. He studies the footage of Blue Arc, realizing this hero is a major player in the city. He wonders if this association is the same group that stole his original body. He does not hesitate, slamming his hand down to confirm his choice. System confirms. He's unlocked the restraint strap, senses skill. Dark lethal shadows erupt from his body as the skill activates. A terrifying glowing eye manifests in his mind, granting him supernatural vision. He can suddenly see the entire layout of the house mapped out in neon blue. With a single thought, he peers through the walls, watching his brother's every move. The system rewards him with a haul of points for his quick thinking. He reads the fine print. He can use these points to create entirely new characters. He realizes the potential. He could control an army of shadows in the future. He envisions himself as a puppet master commanding multiple powerful avatars. Suddenly, a walkie-talkie crackles to life, broadcasting a desperate mission. He traces the signal. It's coming directly from his brother's room. He watches through his new senses as his brother transforms into the hero Blue Arc. His brother is injured, clutching a wound from a previous fight, but he's forced back into action. A villain named Green Wings has taken hostages and is calling for Blue Arc by name. Gu Wenyu realizes his brother is in deep, and the night is only getting started. Blue Arc suits up his armor, glowing with intense crackling energy. He launches himself into the night, moving with incredible high-speed power. Gu Wenyu smirks, finally putting the pieces together. His brother is the city's golden boy. The system warns him, if a hostage dies on camera, it's game over for the association. Gu Wenyu watches the feed, realizing he has to intervene. He dives into the fray, his shadows swirling as he rushes to the scene. He arrives at the square moving faster than the eye can follow. Blue Arc notices him, shocked by his sudden mysterious appearance. The system updates his quest. He has to team up with his brother to survive. He sighs, annoyed that he's being dragged into this hero-villain drama. At the city center, the police are helpless, waiting for Blue Arc to save the day. The situation is critical. The hostages are terrified and running out of time. A young hostage sobs, completely broken by the villain's threats. Green Wing's goons stand guard, ready to pull the trigger at any second. The villain gloats, counting down the seconds until he executes someone. He's a monster, grinning as he toys with the lives of the innocent. The countdown continues, the tension in the air becoming suffocating. Blue Arc leaps into action, but he's too slow to stop the villain's trap. Green Wings mocks him, calling him the prince of the city. Blue Arc stays focused, ignoring the taunts to keep his head in the game. The villain threatens to blow everyone up if Blue Arc does not surrender. Blue Arc refuses to back down, standing his ground against the monster. Green Wings laughs, revealing he has accomplices everywhere with detonators. He dares Blue Arc to try something, knowing the hero is trapped. Blue Arc is desperate, his injuries holding him back from a perfect rescue. The hostages scream for him not to give up even as death looms. The villain loses his patience, screaming for his men to finish it. The hostages panic, realizing their final moment has arrived. Green Wings gives the order to fire, ready to watch the world burn. Blue Arc reaches out, desperate to stop the inevitable, but then the goons suddenly freeze, confused by a strange force. Gu Wenyu's shadows strike from the dark, choking the life out of the gunmen. The villain is stunned, his plan falling apart in an instant. Gu Wenyu's power is absolute, neutralizing the threat before a single bomb goes off. The hostages look up, bewildered by their sudden salvation. Gu Wenyu descends from the shadows, looking like a total badass. He reveals his mask, his eyes glowing with a cold, calculated intensity. Secret is out, and now the real fight for the truth begins. The villain Green Wings is holding the city hostage with bombs, but our MC is not playing by his rules. A hero in armor watches, realizing this mysterious shadow wielder is definitely not on his side. Green Wings threatens to blow everything up, but the MC just stares him down, completely unfazed. Then the MC steps into the light, radiating pure, terrifying power. His social superstar system kicks in, forcing him to play nice with superhumans to get stronger. He's literally reading a manual on how to socialize while in the middle of a life or death standoff. He surrounds the villains with his shadow tendrils, taking total control of the situation. He's trying to build affinity with the bad guys, but his version of small talk is lethal. He tells Green Wings to go ahead and detonate the bombs if he's got the guts. He slams his book shut, daring the villain to make a move. He leans in close, whispering that if the hostages die, the villain loses his only leverage. Green Wings is absolutely losing his mind, cornered by this guy's cold logic. The villain demands he release his subordinate, but the MC is just following his socializing quest. With a casual snap of his fingers, he decides to grant the villain's wish. Suddenly, his shadow tendrils crush the thug's throat with brutal precision. The guy screams as the shadows tear through him, and the MC does not even blink. Green Wings watches in horror as his plan falls apart in seconds. A massive pillar of shadow energy erupts, showing just how dangerous our MC really is. He looks at the villain with a smug grin, asking if he's happy now that he let go. He holds a literal handful of blood, mocking the villain for looking so miserable. The thug is left broken and defeated, completely at the mercy of the shadows. The armored hero is left speechless, witnessing the sheer brutality of the MC's methods. Green Wings is beyond furious, ready to snap, but he's totally outmatched. The MC realizes he might have gone a bit too far with the socializing thing. He decides to pivot and try being a good guy to save his quest progress. He turns his attention to the terrified hostages, trying to look less like a nightmare. The woman is sobbing, completely traumatized by the carnage she just witnessed. He uses his shadows to hold the thugs' heads in place, trying to make it look normal. He asks the victims why they are not showing any resentment toward their captors. He checks his status, wondering if he finally looks like an ally of justice. The hostages are still screaming, clearly not buying his good guy act. His system warns him that his anchor shift is rising. He's losing his grip on his human persona. He's panicking, wondering how to fix this mess without scaring the civilians more. He desperately tries to reattach the thugs' heads with shadows to make them look alive. He stands back, admiring his creepy handiwork, thinking it looks good as new. The hostages stare in absolute terror at the reanimated, shadow-stitched corpses. The system warns him again. He's dangerously close to going full berserk. He tries to convince the kid that it's all just holographic special effects, but then his shadow control slips and the gore starts leaking out again. The shadows lash out, and the situation turns into a total bloodbath. He clutches his head, struggling to keep his sanity as the system pushes him to the edge. Gu Wenyu tries to play it cool, brushing off the carnage as a total accident while his system stresses him out. But he's not done yet, channeling his dark energy to keep the situation under his twisted control. Suddenly, his brother Blue Arc steps in, crackling with electricity and demanding to know exactly who he is. Gu Wenyu just smirks, refusing to be labeled as hero or villain, claiming he's just a morally gray wild card. He reaches out with his shadows, promising a friendship that feels more like a threat. Blue Arc is not buying it, calling him out for the cold-blooded execution of those thugs. Gu Wenyu turns the tables, instantly asking if he'd prefer the hostages to be the ones in the body bags instead. Blue Arc talks about legal punishment, but Gu Wenyu just laughs at how boring and fake that sounds. He decides it's time for a private chat, swirling his shadows to isolate his brother. With a flick of his fingers, he prepares to pry into the hero's deepest, darkest thoughts. And he effortlessly warps the space around them, pulling Blue Arc into his own domain. Blue Arc surges with power, but he's clearly rattled by the sheer intensity of Gu Wenyu's aura. Gu Wenyu stands his ground, waiting to see if his brother will finally drop the act. He lands with a heavy thud, his shadow-clad boots signaling that he's in complete control. And he taunts the hero, making it clear that the next move is entirely up to him. Blue Arc stalks forward, but Gu Wenyu's shadow is already lurking right behind him. Gu Wenyu reveals a glowing, corrupted core, taunting the hero with a dark, pulsating power. He manifests a shadow construct, mocking the very concept of justice. Meanwhile, a winged villain interrupts, whining about being ignored while the real drama unfolds. Blue Arc tries to flex his authority, claiming the villain's crew is already finished. The villain is stunned, realizing he's completely surrounded by the Anomalist Association. But he's still holding the cards, reminding them that the hostages are still his leverage. Gu Wenyu looks on unimpressed, knowing exactly where those hostages really are. He tells Blue Arc to look closer, revealing the truth behind the villain's desperate bluff. The villain freezes, realizing his secret weapon has been neutralized right under his nose. A minute passes and the air crackles with residual energy as the tension hits a breaking point. Blue Arc lunges, his movements sharp and desperate, trying to regain the initiative. He shouts for Gu Wenyu to show himself tired of the cat and mouse games. Gu Wenyu emerges from the darkness, mocking the hero for falling right into his trap. He hangs upside down in the shadows, looking down at his brother with a chilling grin. Blue Arc demands to know his background, desperate to understand this monster. Gu Wenyu just shrugs, saying he does not need a name yet because the world will give him one soon enough. He shifts the conversation, asking if the hero is curious about what he's actually looking at. He reveals an old newspaper clipping, exposing the tragic, bloody history of the Anomalist Association. Gu Wenyu drops the act, addressing his brother by his real name, Gu Kei. The realization hits Blue Arc like a truck. His brother knows his deepest, most painful secret. Gu Wenyu recounts the day their mother was destroyed, twisting the knife in his brother's heart. The atmosphere turns suffocating as the truth of that day hangs between them. He explains the hero's entire motivation, the desperate need for revenge against the organization. Gu Wenyu crushes a shadow construct, symbolizing the brutal reality of their shared trauma. Blue Arc tries to deny it, but his shaking fists betray his internal collapse. Gu Wenyu offers a twisted alliance, promising to help him infiltrate the group and get his revenge. He shatters the air around him, his shadow powers flaring with newfound, terrifying intensity. He points to his own head, telling his brother that he only needs one tiny favor in return. Blue Arc is stunned, his guard finally dropping as he asks what the price is. Gu Wenyu warns him that the truth is a fatal burden, but promises to stick around the city. Blue Arc snaps back to reality, demanding to know how he could possibly know his identity. Gu Wenyu just smiles, a dark, knowing look that says he sees everything. He taps his temple, claiming he can see the true face hidden beneath every mask. Blue Arc loses it, calling the whole situation absolutely absurd. He powers up for a final strike, but Gu Wenyu just watches, ready to show him who's really in charge. Our protagonist is absolutely crushing it, dominating the battlefield with his insane shadow powers. He strikes with such overwhelming force that the entire area is left in total devastation. But even mid-fight, he's keeping his cool, taunting his rival Blue Arc about his pathetic injuries. Then with a mocking farewell, he vanishes, leaving his opponent reeling in the dust. He does not even break a sweat, walking through the rain like he owns the place. Just look at that hand. Dripping with the blood of his enemies, he's truly a force of nature. Later, he returns to his base, the atmosphere heavy with the crackle of a coming storm. He steps inside his presence alone, shifting the entire vibe of the room. Meanwhile, his allies are whispering about Blue Arc's heroic struggle, totally unaware of the truth. Suddenly, a system notification pops up. His master plan to infiltrate the Anomalist Association is officially underway. He tosses his mask aside, knowing full well that playing the long game is the only way to win. He's already reaping the rewards, stacking up skill points and attribute boosts like a total pro. He's chilling, wondering what kind of legendary codename he's going to get next. Checking his stats, he realizes he's basically leveling up in real life. It's like a high-stakes RPG. He studies the system interface, realizing that every point he spends makes his restraint straps even deadlier. He's weighing his options, knowing that mental power and physical constitution are the keys to absolute dominance. He decides to dump his points into speed, because in his world, if you are not fast, you are dead. The system confirms his choice, and he's ready to push his limits even further. He locks in the upgrade, feeling his reflexes sharpen to a terrifying new level. And he dives into the skill tree, hunting for the ultimate game-changing ability. He stands before the digital void, ready to unlock powers that will make him unstoppable. A surge of raw energy erupts, signaling that he's just unlocked something massive. The system lays out his new path, and he's already calculating how to exploit it. Tests his new truth skill, a literal lie detector that gives him total control over any conversation. Then he checks out the detection skill, which lets him strip away an enemy's secrets just by touching them. He's not worried about raw power yet. He's focused on survival and gathering the intel he needs to destroy his enemies. He unlocks the suppression branch, meaning he can now shut down any Asper's abilities on command. He's already imagining the chaos he'll cause testing his new bindings on some poor unlucky guard. He's got that dangerous glint in his eye. He can't wait to find a real target to test his full arsenal on. He's locked in his focus sharper than ever before. Then he sees it, the option to create a brand new character. He's just a few points away from creating a backup, a second self to ensure he never truly loses. Imagine the possibilities. Two versions of him both equally deadly working in perfect sync. He sits by the window plotting his next move while the lightning dances outside. Suddenly he senses someone. His guard is up instantly. A hand reaches for the door and he's ready to strike. It's just the instructor, but our guy is not buying the act for a second. He stares him down, his eyes cold and calculating. He pretends to drift off, but he's actually watching every single move. The facility goes on high alert and he knows the interrogation is about to begin. The instructor leans in trying to probe for information about the outside world. He's playing the part of the obedient student, but he's actually running circles around the guy. He keeps his cool even when he's being watched like a hawk. He looks so innocent, but that smile hides a mountain of secrets. He wakes up acting totally groggy just to keep the instructor off balance. The instructor is still fishing for info, trying to catch him in a slip-up. He drops a question that should be impossible to answer, trying to trap him. But our guy just smirks. He's always 3 steps ahead of the game. The instructor tries to pivot, acting like it's no big deal. Then he pulls out a photo, the ultimate test to see if he's been exposed. The tension is at an all-time high. Is his cover finally blown?